Hello, everyone, and thank you for attending the DRiV Virtual Job Fair event. I would like to introduce you to Mark. Mark will tell you about his company, job openings, and how to apply for those openings. Mark?
Thank you so much for the introduction. My name is Mark MacArthur. I am an HR business partner here at Tenneco. We'll be introducing you to our leadership team. Next slide, please. And all of the career opportunities that we have here in the northern Chicago area of Skokie. What we're going to really focus on today is an introduction to our location here in northern Chicago, and then talk about the specific opportunities that we have available to all of our people who joined in today. So let's get things started. I'd like to introduce you to Gary Youngenberg, our plant manager for over 33 years here, to walk you through the plant and our company at large. So Gary, take it away.
Thanks, Mark. Okay, next slide. All right, so my name, as Mark said, is Gary Youngenberg. I'm the plant manager at our Skokie manufacturing facility. There are a couple things. First of all, you may notice some noises on the line. My office actually sits in the middle of the plant, and you can hear some of the equipment going. Occasionally, you may hear a small train go by. This train delivers and picks up goods from various manufacturing points in the plant. So a little bit about Tenneco. We are a global company that drives advancement in mobility. So you may not have heard of Tenneco, but you probably know our brands if you work on cars. So we can go to the next slide. A little bit about Tenneco. We have 78,000 team members worldwide. We have 217 manufacturing sites and 41 distribution centers. So a large global company in the mobility business. Next slide. So Tenneco is broken up into two groups, basically, a clean air powertrain group and a DRiV group. The Skokie manufacturing plant is located under the DRiV division and is part of the motor parts powertrain, sealing, and engine group. Next slide. I mentioned you may know us a little bit better by our brands. So unique brands in the automotive industry: Monroe shocks and struts, Moog chassis, Champion spark plugs, Wagner braking and lighting, and of course Felpro, which is what we produce in the Skokie manufacturing plant. All of those brands that I mentioned are over 100 years old. Next slide. Now a little bit about our Skokie plant. This is the home of Felpro gaskets, and we celebrated our 100th anniversary in 2018. Next slide. One of the things that makes our plant unique is that we do everything under one roof. By that, I mean we design, prototype, test, manufacture, and distribute our gaskets all under one roof in one facility. We collaborate freely, and it makes our jobs fun, makes it interesting, and it leads to some amazing teamwork. Next slide. We started operations in 1918, and in actuality, the original owners of the company started off selling felt horse blankets. As transportation or mobility moved from horses to cars, they had to do something with the felt horse blankets, and they began stamping gaskets out of the felt material originally for Ford Motor Company. The name of the company at that time was Felt Products, and as felt became obsolete as a material to seal an engine, they shortened the name to Felpro, which is the brand name we sell under today. We were privately held until 1998 when Federal-Mogul acquired us, and then in 2018, Tenneco acquired Federal-Mogul. We have a large site. We have 1 million square feet under roof, and we sit on 37 acres. We produce 325,000 gaskets a day with a workforce of 1,100 that we're ramping up to 1,200 to meet our customer demand. Next slide. Key processes for us include stamping, coating, assembly. Rubber injection molding is a big piece of what we do. And then kitting. Kitting is a big piece of what we do, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. And we have all the latest technologies for sealing an engine. For kitting, we actually are very SKU intensive operation. We can actually go to the next slide. So by SKU intensive, I mean we still make gaskets for Model T Fords. So, and all the way up to current production. So we have more than 50,000 part numbers in total, and we kit those parts into assemblies or kits that our end customer can use to seal a given application. So if it's a Model T and they're replacing all the gaskets on that engine, we would have a kit that contains all of those part numbers. So, so that's a little bit about us, and that kitting process of bringing all these components together for our end users is a big piece of what we do. All right, next slide. Okay, so current opportunities. Because of strong customer demand and new business wins, we need to ramp up our team and have numerous open positions, including industrial maintenance technicians, automated high-speed punch press operators, etc. And I'm going to turn it over to Mark Bowman to discuss some of those opportunities with you.
All right, next slide. Thank you, Gary. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit about our openings in our maintenance team. I'll give you a little bit of background on our maintenance team. So we have a 60-person maintenance shop. It's made up of several disciplines, certainly industrial maintenance mechanics, which is the position that we have a number of openings for. As well, we have industrial maintenance electricians. We have technicians that are dedicated to much of our automation we have here in Skokie, and building and maintenance personnel, HVAC, et cetera, and those types of disciplines. As Gary mentioned, our plant has a variety of types of manufacturing processes. So naturally, we have a variety of types of manufacturing equipment. Most notably, as he mentioned, injection molding presses. We have also mechanical punch presses, hydraulic presses, a number of other types of equipment, conveyors, ovens, coil processing lines, et cetera. So we're looking for some new team members to join our team. I would say we're looking for individuals that possess mechanical and electrical aptitude, experience in an industrial setting, servicing manufacturing equipment, troubleshooting and repairing hydraulic systems, pumps, cylinders, manifolds, et cetera, troubleshooting, repairing mechanical systems, gearboxes, shafts, seals, bearings, things of that nature. And then some level of ability to operate basic machine shop equipment. So mills, lathes, drill presses, that type of thing, able to fabricate, modify components, that type of thing. Some benefits I wanted to mention being a part of the team. Certainly, you would be exposed to a variety of experiences. The work here is not repetitive. It's not like you're doing the same thing every day. With the number of types of equipment that we have here and the processes that we have here, everybody's pretty much doing something different every day. We have a strong team environment. We have a number of tenured team members, 40 plus years. We have somebody that's approaching 50. Another benefit to the facility is it's climate control, which is nice in the summer months. So we have air conditioning through the summer. And then I believe overall, I think it's a rewarding experience here. You know, you certainly get to see your contribution to the plant's performance and to ultimately the success of the brand. So I hope we have some interested parties on the call, and you know, those that are willing to take the next step with us. And that's what I have. So I'll pass it on to John Suss. He is Value Stream Manager over Operations.
Next slide.
Good morning. I presume everyone can hear me. I just want to talk to you about one aspect of our manufacturing facility is our automatic punch press. So I'm not going to only talk about the job posting, which I'll cover a bit, but also some basic objectives that the plant is working towards. The longevity, as Mark just mentioned, some brand recognition, and our core values. So I'm going to touch upon some of these things. So as far as job responsibilities, we're looking for operators that can run automated punch presses utilizing progressive dies. You will set up these presses or the dies to make our gaskets from various materials, composites, cold rolled steel, stainless steel, aluminum, covers the gamut of what we do. You will also interact with other departments within the facility: quality, engineering, maintenance, the tool room. And as I mentioned, some of the basic objectives are for us is safety, quality, and an on-time delivery to our customers. Now, safety, we value safety in the Skokie facility. We want to make sure that every team members leaves the facility the same way they came in. The company provides all the protective personal equipment required for the job. Quality, the gasket you make may wind up on your own vehicle if your car needs repairs. So all the more reason for quality and to keep up the Felpro brand name. Delivery, our customers expect quality parts delivered when they need them. So those are three basic objectives. Longevity and brand recognition is the other thing. We have a long history of tenured team members, as Mark mentioned, 40 years, 50 years, but 20 years and plus of seniority is not uncommon within the Skokie facility. You could consider this not just a job, but you can make it a career. Felpro is the premier brand for gaskets. We sell to the retailers like Advance, AutoZone, O'Reilly, Napa, Pep Boys, and a bunch of other engine rebuilders. We also serve the original equipment manufacturers such as Ford, Chrysler, GM, Toyota, Cummins, Caterpillar, John Deere. And our core values are important. Integrity always, one team, make tomorrow better, of the will to win. Now, these core values speak for themselves. I don't think I need to go into depth in them, but it shows you the culture of this corporation. So we're really looking for technically oriented people who enjoy making a finished product out of raw materials. So if you feel like manufacturing is a passion for you, you might just fit in our organization. So we're looking for throughout multiple shifts, but predominantly in this area, second and third shift. So Mark, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you so much, John. Next slide, please. So essentially, this is what we would like you guys to be able to do from here. We know that you are interested in what the next step for you to take would be is to log on to tenneco.com/careers to look at all of our openings. So we were able to focus on two positions with Mark and John here, but there are additional openings that if for some reason these two positions don't fit your fancy, I'm sure we do have an opening for something that does match your background. So please go to tenneco.com/careers and submit your application for consideration. Next slide, please. And at this moment, we have opportunity to ask our lead recruiter, Brandon, John, Mark, Gary, myself, any questions that you might have about our presentation or about our individual positions. So I'll open up the floor.
Fantastic. Thank you for your presentation. And thank you for that, Mark. I do want to reiterate that if folks do have any questions for the DRiV team, please feel free to enter those into the chat and we'll get those answered for you. In the meantime, while we're waiting for participant questions, I have a few questions that I would like to ask the DRiV team, if that is okay. And Mark, will you be the one that I will be directing the questions to?
We'll probably have to figure out exactly who to answer the question, but yeah, why don't you answer and we'll figure out who's best to answer those questions.
Okay, fantastic, thank you. So the first question that I have for you is, how long does your hiring process typically take from the point of submitting an application to being extended an official offer for hire?
Brandon, I think you'd be the best person to answer that one.
Sure. So from application to offer, I mean, we try to make it a pretty quick turnaround. Within about 24 to 48 hours, I should be reaching out to you to do a phone interview. You know, a day or two after that, you should be in for a face-to-face interview. And then, you know, again, the same day or the next day, you should be accepting an offer. So I would say, you know, 5 to 7 days at most between application and offer, ideally.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Brandon. We did receive a question in the chat. This individual asks, what do you like most about working at DRiV?
I guess that one could go to anybody who wants to jump in.
Yeah, so I did respond on the chat, but for me, it's all about the team. I've been here 33 years. Quite honestly, when I started here, I did not intend to stay here, but I really enjoyed the group of people I was working with, and that feeling, it's almost like family with the team you work with. You can't beat it. So that's my favorite thing about it.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Gary. And while we're waiting for some additional questions to roll in the chat, I do have some additional questions that I would like to ask. The question that I have for you all is, are there any sort of minimum education requirements that folks have to possess to apply for the positions that were covered here today?
Brandon, I think that one's you as well.
Additional qualifications was your question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, are there any sort of minimum educational requirements that one would need to possess to apply for the positions that you covered here today?
Yes. At minimum, we just require a GED or high school diploma for our positions. Of course, for the more technical roles like the maintenance mechanic and electrician and HVAC, there are some additional certifications you might need for those. But at minimum, for just about any position, it's high school or GED.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Brandon. And kind of building off your response there, are folks paid for the time in which they're being trained, and does DRiV or Tenneco cover things such as continuing education expenses for folks that might want to get additional certifications?
Yeah, so I mean, your training is on the job, so we absolutely pay you for it. We're not gonna waste your time there. As far as additional training resources, I mean, it sort of depends on what you want to do. So if you're interested in, for example, the maintenance mechanic or electrician track, or even a tool and die maker, we have apprenticeships available where you can get paid to learn on the job, as well as have your classroom learning paid for there, as long as you're with the company. And then we also do have tuition reimbursement available if you decide to take some classes just to further your own knowledge, or work towards some other career goal you have here at the plant. So yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Brandon. And I know during the presentation, somebody had mentioned that you all are providing PPE for folks that work at the facility, but as you can all imagine, during a lot of these events, I get questions about COVID and the safety precautions that employers are implementing to keep folks safe. Can you all kind of elaborate on what it is that you have done or implemented there at the facility, to maintain those safety precautions? And then kind of another question that I have based off of that, another question that I get quite frequently is, are there virtual interviewing opportunities available for folks maybe in the initial stages of the hiring process?
So this is Gary. I will take the COVID question. And as I talk to you right now, I can tell you that I'm masked up. We take COVID very seriously. We take our safety in general very seriously. We want each of our team members to go home safe and to go home healthy. So we do require masks. We do have temperature checks on the way in. We have changed in some ways, we've changed our shift schedules to make sure we didn't have an overlap of two shifts together. We've done a lot of things. We take COVID very seriously. And like I said, we want everybody to go home safe and healthy every day. So that is certainly the COVID piece of that question. And I'm thinking the second half of that is better answered probably by Brandon.
Yeah, to answer the part about interviews, we can absolutely accommodate a remote interview if that's what you want to do. We can use a video interview platform like this, or we can just do a phone interview. But if that's what you're comfortable with, we can do that. But we also are still doing on-site interviews with COVID guidelines in place.
Understood. Thank you both for your responses. So I'll go ahead and take a pause here on my questions. Looks like we did receive another one in the chat. This individual asks, do you offer training for the maintenance technician positions for qualified applicants?
Yeah, this is Mark. So certainly we don't expect anyone to enter or join the team and enter our environment here and understand all of our processes and all of our pieces of equipment. So there absolutely is training involved. What we do expect is some level of maintenance experience servicing this type of equipment, general mechanical and hydraulic systems. Those are typically applicable across a multitude of pieces of equipment. But to answer the core question, certainly there would be training involved to bring the person up to speed with our equipment, our processes, our procedures, etc.
Understood. Thank you for that response, Mark. And we did receive another question in the chat. This individual asks, do you have other type of job opportunities other than manufacturing, and what are the other work locations?
This is Roger. I'll step in. Are you looking for, at this location, we obviously have, from time to time, we have engineering, we have purchasing, we have quality customer service at this. The jobs that you saw posted were just some that we're looking at right now as very ones that we have openings, but we have periodically do that. Other locations, again, across the United States and globally, as Gary mentioned early on, Tenneco has locations across the globe. The best place if you're looking for something outside of the Chicagoland area is to check the job site, the Tenneco website under the careers, and you can sort by country or state, but there are openings across the company for that. Obviously, we'd like to have you consider us here at Skokie, but also any of the Tenneco facilities as a great company to work for.
And I believe our next slide, if you advance, we'll have our website. We can maybe leave that up for your reference when you want to look up all the positions. Oh, maybe it was the previous, my bad, sorry. Yeah, if you pull up tenneco.com/careers, you'll see that we have over 32 positions open right now.
And it looks like we ran into a little bit of an audio issue, Mark. Looks like you are muted.
Oh.
Now you're unmuted. You should be able to speak.
Sorry about that. Yeah, if you go to tenneco.com/careers, you'll find multiple positions from all sorts of different disciplines, IT, finance. We're looking for interns. So depending on your level of experience and what specifically you're looking to apply into, please check the website. What we're talking about today is just a small subset of openings that we have on the website. We have over 35 different positions that we're hiring for right now.
Excellent. Thank you, Mark. And we did receive another question in the chat. This individual asks, do you have any quality control positions? If so, do you provide training?
Well, I do see online that we're looking for a quality engineer. So if that's in line, definitely look at that. But anybody on the phone, can you speak to training if we were to look at that?
Yeah, so I'll take a stab at that question. We do have an open position for a quality engineer. There are some requirements. We ideally for this position would like to have somebody come in with 3 to 5 years of experience in the field of quality engineering. So we do obviously train, for example, if your experience would be non-automotive, we would certainly provide the training necessary to learn the automotive quality system, et cetera. So.
Fantastic. Thank you, Gary, and thank you, Mark, for that. Looks like that individual asked another question. I don't know if it's in reference to that. It says, is it QA? I don't know if that stands for quality assurance or not exactly sure, but perhaps you folks are familiar with that.
Sure. I like to refer to it as just quality. It's certainly not quality control. It's closer to quality assurance than quality control, but quality engineer that is forward looking at how can we prevent that next defect from getting out of the plant? How can we prevent that next defect from even being manufactured? So that's our approach to quality, is we want to get out in front of it and prevent defects from even being manufactured.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Gary. And I just want to pause here again and reiterate, if you do have any questions for the DRiV team, please feel free to enter those in the chat. We'll get those answered for you. A lot of great questions so far. So we definitely encourage you to continue to ask the questions that you have regarding any of the positions that were covered here today. We did receive another question in the chat. This individual asks, what makes your company successful?
Okay, I'll take a shot at that question. I think we have an extreme customer focus. And by customer focus, I mean the person that actually opens up the box. So the mechanic, the professional installer, the do-it-yourselfer that actually opens up that box. We study them. We learn from them what their expectations are, what they see as flaws perhaps in the marketplace in terms of our product or in terms of an engine. And we design and manufacture to try to please that end user, the end installer. And I think that customer focus is really what makes us successful.
Excellent. Thank you, Gary. And I did receive another question as a direct message. This individual asks, is your company background friendly, and do you hire people with disabilities?
I'll speak up and take that. It's Roger in Human Resources. We absolutely do. We've had a program now for almost 2 years where we look at people with disabilities and other challenges and give them the opportunity. We feel that they're a valuable part of the workforce, and we do have a third party that we work with to assist us and provide some of the extra onboarding care that they need to make that transition into the workforce. So we absolutely do have a program, and we would encourage them to either reach out to us directly or through maybe one of their agency partners that they're already currently working with. We probably have a relationship with them. We have a relationship with over 40 different agency providers in the Chicagoland area that they may be working with a disability of one type or the other.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Roger. And at this time, we have kind of reached the conclusion of our session here today. So I do want to allow the DRiV team to have kind of a final opportunity to give any sort of summary statements or concluding remarks that you all would like to make. If there's anything in particular that you would like to highlight for potential applicants on the call, please feel free to do so now.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, my name is David. I'm actually applying for the warehouse position, like the warehouse operator. I already did like a few days ago.
Okay, fantastic. I don't know if I don't know if the DRiV team would be able to answer your question, but unfortunately, I'll have to place you on mute. If you do have any sort of follow-up responses that you want to make, we'll need to make sure that you channel that through the chat.
I apologize.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, I don't know if the DRiV team has any sort of summary statements that they'd like to make. If you want to address that individual's question, please feel free to do so. And looks like we do have one other question that came in the chat, so we can go ahead and get that answered too before we wrap up the session.
I'd say for sure parting statements is if you're interested in anything that we had to present today or anything on the website, first step is definitely apply. Even if you think that you might be missing 1 or 2 qualifications, open up that conversation for us and our recruiting team to reach out and see if you'd be a good fit. So make sure that you're getting your application in so we can get the conversation started.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mark. And for the folks that do have additional questions regarding employment with the DRiV or Tenneco team, is there a particular location, email address, general info at type of email that folks should direct questions to, or are there specific folks that you would say they need to get a hold of? how would applicants go ahead and get their questions answered?
What works best for you? How about you, Brandon? What do you think?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I plan on reaching out to everybody who registered for the event to remind them of the positions we have available, as well as encourage them to apply and give them the links again, in case you didn't, get the chance to write them down. And at that point, of course, you're also welcome to respond with any questions you have. I'll even put my email in the chat if you would like to email me directly. That's fine.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Brandon. And I just do, again, want to allow any of the DRiV or Tenneco team members, if you all have any summary statements that you'd like to make regarding today's session, please feel free to do so now. If not, we can kind of begin that formal wrap up. Does not appear that we have any additional statements from the DRiV or Tenneco team. So again, I do want to note here for the job seekers on the call, the session has been recorded. It will be uploaded to the Illinois WorkNet YouTube channel later this afternoon. Once it has been uploaded there, I will link it directly to the DRiV or Tenneco booth on WorkNet, and you will be able to access this video, this presentation here today at any time. If there's any sort of information that you would like to reference here that was covered today while filling out your applications. Thank you all for attending today. Hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.